The town of Farmington. Respecting history, planning the future.
I'd like to call the October 13th, 2015 Town Council meeting to order and ask everyone to rise to say the Pledge of Allegiance. John, would you lead us, please?
My pleasure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, now we'll go to presentations and recognitions. We have none this evening. And now to the public hearing. D. Paula.
Legal notice, Town of Farmington, to set a public hearing for October 13th, 2015 at 7:05 p.m. in the Town Hall Council Chambers to consider the acquisition of property owned by Joanne Perloff and the estate of Casimir Bykoski, located at Lot 10A Slater Road, adjacent to Deadwood Swamp, approximately 2.60 acres, for no consideration in exchange for taxes due, estimated to be $17,520.68 as of December 2015. Dated Farmington, Connecticut, the 6th day of October 2015. Kathleen A. Egan, Town Manager.
Thank you. Kathy.
Good evening. Tonight we have a public hearing on Lot 10A Slater Road. This property was originally part of a larger parcel that was divided by the construction on I-84. It's uncertain why this small portion was not also taken by the state at the time of the interstate's construction. The property has no access, and it is likely mostly, if not at all, wetlands, and it's surrounded by Deadwood Swamp. The property is currently assessed at 100% excess land with no building potential. Currently, one of the owners is deceased and the other is financially destitute and in poor health. The option for the town to acquire the property in exchange for taxes due will enable the estate to be closed and will remove this ongoing delinquency from the tax rolls. And you can see from the map here where I-84 is. It's a very small piece of property next to Deadwood Swamp, and there's really, it's just right next to the interstate, and the red is the Deadwood Swamp, obviously. Lot 10A is a very small sliver down at the bottom of the screen. So that's it.
Thank you.
This piece right here, the little piece.
Yeah, that's I-84 right through it.
Yeah, I-84 is right there.
Now open it.
Any public comment?
Any public comment on this public hearing tonight?
Madam Chair, I'm going to ask that you hold the hearing open until 7:05 because it wasn't supposed to start until 7:05.
Okay.
Sorry. Checking more accurate time.
This is my clock.
It is 7:05 right now.
Okay. So at this time, we'll close the hearing. Now I'd like to look at D2, our second public hearing tonight.
Legal notice, Town of Farmington, to set a public hearing for October 13th, 2015 at 7:10 p.m. in the Town Hall Council Chambers to accept the donation of property owned approximately .7 acres by the Tommaso Brothers, Inc., Lot 3 at Johnson Avenue. Dated Farmington, Connecticut, the 6th day of October 2015. Kathleen A. Egan, Town Manager.
Thank you.
And Russ Arnold will be giving this presentation.
There we go. Now I can start.
Yeah.
Good evening. We're here tonight to consider the donation of Lot 3 Johnson Avenue. This is a strip of land, as you can see, runs parallel to the railroad right-of-way and adjacent to the town of Farmington road right-of-way for Junior Road. It is, as was read into the record, it's about 3/4 of an acre. We had originally approached the Tomaso brothers who own the property for an easement for us to gain access to the railroad right-of-way during our design. And through several discussions with them, they determined that the property was no longer of value for them and asked if we would be willing to accept the donation of the entire parcel. And we've reviewed it in my office and don't see any issue why we shouldn't accept it. It creates a bigger, larger right-of-way for us in case we have to do any work on the road. It would help us when we have to replace the, there's 3 cross culverts at just south of the Connecticut Natural Gas station that we're gonna have to replace soon, and this could help us out with the easements and by owning our own property ourselves. With that, it's fairly simple.
Just again, that the reason why we're having this is for our rails to trail system.
For our rails to trails,
Trail
correct. That's
system.
I said during our design for that project.
Yeah.
And I do want to plug that the rails to trails is being paid for 100% by the state and the federal government. So with that, I'll ask any questions, answer any questions.
I'll open it up for questions on this issue.
I just have one quick question.
Yeah.
Is there any sort of a tax impact? I assume there's a little bit of a tax impact to the
A little,
town.
but as with the other property, it's very minimal. It's not buildable. There's no
Right.
potential development for the property. And it originally went out to Route 6. There was a strip that went all the way out to Route 6 from Northwest Drive that they owned. And when they built Connecticut, that strip got absorbed into the Connecticut property itself. So the little, 3/4 of an acre,
Yeah.
the tax impact is
Maybe
minor.
$1,500 or somewhere around there.
Yeah, if we're lucky on that.
Okay.
Very minor.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you, Russ. We'll wait another minute. It's 7:09, so, by my clock here. So.
Turn off the screens. Yeah, thanks.
Oh, 7:10. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, E, new items. John?
Madam Chair, I'd like to move that we add a motion item to the agenda, item N14, motion to reconfirm the appointments made at the special meeting on September 22nd for Michael Calandria, Howard Martin, and Guy Wolf.
Second.
Thank you.
Do I have?
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you.
And Madam Chair, I'd also like to add, make a motion to add agenda item L15, a Justice of the Peace appointment.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Great, thank you. At this time, I'd ask, any other new items? Okay. At this time, I'd ask for any public comment. Please state your name and your address. Okay, hearing none, we'll continue with reading of the minutes. G1, September 8th.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of September 8th, 2015 regular town council meeting.
Second.
Any changes or corrections to the minutes? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
And I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes for the September 22nd, 2015 special town council meeting.
Second.
Any corrections or changes? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. H, reading of communications and written appeals.
Just two correspondences that were in your packet. The one was the testimony for the Cadillac tax. As you know, that we're often asked to write to the state of Connecticut about various things. So this is just my testimony about the Cadillac tax.
Okay. And thank you very much for doing this. It's important to let them hear from us.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Could you explain this a little bit?
I'll try to give you an overview. Joe is not here today. He knows it a little bit better, but it really has to do with tax on for high-cost employee coverage for health insurance. And if you have a certain, if your program or your insurance is at a certain level, you're going to potentially be taxed on it. So what the problem is that there's a couple of different problems that are going on. One is that the administrative cost is very high because every person, it's based on salary and what, we have different people that make different amounts of money and what they pay for insurance. So you have to, there's a portion of that goes along with it. The second thing is that we, as the town, do have a higher health insurance plan. And so in general, we have somewhat of a problem of lowering our plans to meet kind of the standard, and we have unions and different things, and someone has to pay this tax on it. And again, looking into the future, there's going to be a debate of who's going to pay the tax. Is it going to be the union collective bargaining? Is it going to be the town? Who's going to be required to pay that? So there's a lot of issues that go along with that side of it. There's still a lot to be worked out. Again, we're just putting it's this 40% on it, and our estimation is it's 6% of our annual cost is going to add it up. But again, we're not too sure if that's what it is. It's still, we're working out the details of it. But I think the bottom line is, even if agree or disagree with the whole idea of it, is that again, these laws are coming into effect that are really unfunded mandates for the municipalities, and you're not having a lot of debate or concern, before they issue them. And so that's really my knowledge of it at this point in time.
So is this a tax on the health care for high-income people, high-income employees?
High-income employees.
Is the measure of whether the tax is impacted or not on the salary of the individual?
No.
I think it's on the
On the benefit.
It's on the benefit.
On the benefit that you're getting.
No, I know it's on the benefit,
Okay.
but is everybody who has health care having to pay this? What's the criteria for having to pay?
Meaning,
tax?
in general, it's what your benefit plan is, and so it's on high benefit plans that so we as a town are a high benefit plan. So our benefit is high, so then we're going to be taxed on it to pay
So
for.
a company or a town that gives a median healthcare plan,
Yep.
they wouldn't pay anything.
That's pretty broad,
general,
but in
in general.
general, yeah.
But if you pay your employees a higher level of healthcare,
Yeah.
that gets taxed?
Yeah, my understanding in very broad terms is that because of that, there's healthcare more, Obamacare, and everyone's offered healthcare, that it has to be paid for in certain ways, and how that's being paid for is by people and employers that have a higher benefit plan are going to be taxed on it, and that tax then is going to be helped to pay for health insurance for other people all over. So that's kind of the general concept of it, and because we have a higher benefit plan, we are going to be the person, have the potential of being taxed quite a bit for it. And there's a lot of different things that go along with it, but what's interesting is that municipalities are ones that traditionally have higher benefit plans, and then they have the unions that are now going to have to pay for it. And it's kind of like a catch-22 of what population you're trying to help. So there's a lot of different things that go along with it, but again, we're studying it more. Joe is very much the expert on it, and
Right.
he's been reviewing it. But there's a lot of concern that the town does have with it, so we're continually just watching it.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you, Kathy. Report of committees. Yukon, we are going to be meeting October 30th at noon here in the town hall. Land acquisition,
Nothing new to report.
green efforts,
Nothing to report?
Farmington City Hartford Committee, joint.
Yeah, I have a little update on that. The Phase 1 study was done on the property, and there was approximately 80 to 90 acres of property up there. And through the study, they determined that only 10 acres of that property will be actually usable for building. And we'll say if it's 80, 70 acres of it is wetlands. So Rose Ponte gave me an update today. They had a meeting today with the Hartford people and some other, and the consultants on this. And based on the 10 acres, they will have enough room up there for two 60,000 square foot buildings, plus all the parking that would be needed to support those two buildings. So it was, I guess, somewhat of a shock that they thought they had a lot of land to work with up there now, but now they're down to about 10 acres. So at least it's moving in the right direction, and they feel maybe the 10 acres might be more manageable of a project to get underway. So at least it's moving in the right direction.
Yeah, well, at least they found out that information so they can get going.
Yep.
Great. Okay, thanks, Peter. Bike Advisory Committee. John?
So the Bike Advisory Committee has been working on identification of roads that are good for bicycles. And what we've been trying to do is to get those roads marked either with signs or with sharrows painted on the roads. We've worked with the Traffic Advisory Committee to get approval to do those. And right now, there's been signage placed on Middle Road and River Road, and so they're all set. We've received approval for signage on Copper Mine Road. One of the things we're trying to do is to look for roads that are safe for bicycles that bring people from place to place. And we're looking for being able to move people from our town to other towns. So Middle Road, for example, brings people over to West Hartford. River Road brings people over towards the Bristol area. Copper Mine will also bring people. And so we're trying to work so that people can not only move around in Farmington, but also move around in the region on bikes.
Great,
That's all.
great, thank you.
Yep.
Gateway Committee. Kathy, do you want to, with Jeff, or, I'm
could
sorry,
do
Amy,
Amy.
I'm sorry.
I sit in all the meetings. We met last on October 1st. The key of that meeting was to discuss the additional ideas that came up when we did the presentation of the consultant report at the meeting, which I forgot when the meeting was, but basically the consultants re-presented the ideas back to the community of what they came up with for the Parsons area. And there were some really excellent new ideas that came up. So what we were trying to do is incorporate those ideas into the final draft. Our next meeting, we hope to have the final draft from the consultants, and the next step is to come to the town council and present to the town council the consultants' report as well as our report with the commission, and then start moving forward to potentially, first we're going to bring it to TPZ and then start looking at other areas in town that we can work with the community and have ideas as to how we can help and we can implement people's visions. So, and we don't have a date on the next meeting because it overlaps with the 50th anniversary of the Services for the Elderly, which is on the 29th. But once we do have it, we'll be on the public website. And then, as I said, at the next town council meeting, we hope to present all the findings. So.
Okay, thanks very much. Webpage Committee.
I'd like to note that I have my webpage tie on right now. Just for the occasion to report on this webpage committee meeting. We met last week, the Councilor Ribbert and myself and Erica and Brian, and
We went over the approving the wireframe, which is the actual layout of the webpage. It's not the design, but it's where the elements are laid out on the page, and we decided what was important, what would be prominent, what we put in the front. So it's a big step forward, and right now it's back at Vision, the company that's designing it for us, and they're putting together a design, which they will bring to us in the upcoming weeks. One of two designs we'll pick, and maybe we'll pick elements from each and incorporate them together. And in the meantime, Erica and Brian will be meeting with department heads to get their feedback and input regarding their various pages, their portions of the site, and then also the Economic Development Commission. We'll be meeting with them. And I don't think that any of those meetings are scheduled yet, but they will be in the upcoming weeks. So it's very exciting, making progress, and we should have a new website here shortly.
Great,
So,
great, thank you.
thank you.
Report of the chair and liaisons. Chair report. A couple of things. First of all, I want to go back a little bit to the 375th Historical Day. And it seems like it's been a long time since we've met, but we had a historical day where there was a tour around town, and I wanted to thank Betty Quakendoyle and her team for putting this together. They put in a lot of hard work, a lot of hours to get this together and have. It was very fun to see different people of our town's history brought to life, I'll say. And they did a great job, and it was really done well. And Kathy, I want to thank you as well for the town helping out getting this together with the transportation and all. So we really appreciate that. But it was a great day in Farmington for our 375th. And then we had our Unionville Festival, September 27th. Great day. It was beautiful weather. Just an amazing day, and a lot of people there to celebrate the day with Unionville. This year they had a couple of added features of a jumping, what do you call it?
Bounce house.
A bounce, but yes. And so each year it seems like a couple more things are being integrated, and I think everybody had a great time. And I want to thank the committee, the group, for all the hard work that they put in to do this, because it takes a lot of time and effort, and we had a great day. So another beautiful weather day. I also had a fun day about a week and a half ago where I toured, for the first time, toured the highway and grounds buildings and the rec area. And it was really eye-opening, and I'm hoping at some point to get the council over there to walk through. It was a very rainy day, not as beautiful as the other two we had for the celebrations, but I certainly learned a lot. So I want to thank Russ and the group that gave me the tour and spent the time the morning with me. So I appreciate that. It was great. Let's see. I want to speak a little bit now about an issue that we've had a number of emails about. This is had to do with High Street. We had a lot of discussion through emails from a number of different people, from High Street people and people in the village. And I wanted to address that tonight because of some of the emails that we'd gotten and the references to the council making some decisions about the whole area, about not just High Street, but the village and how things are going to impact them and what we would do with streets. And I felt it was really important for me to say something at a public meeting so that people are well aware that the council has not made any decision and would not make any decision in secret about roads and what's going to happen with roads. We have so much going on right now with Route 4, with our Gateway Committee, and with the state coming in and working on our road and changing that. Lots going to change on Route 4 in that corner. And I think until we see the impact of that truly in the village area, and Farmington, not just the village area, it's going to impact Unionville as well with the traffic coming in and out. So I think that it's important for the public to understand that we are going, as a council, we'll take this up, and it's not that we're waiting until that's over. We're going to be monitoring this on an ongoing basis because a lot's happening there weekly, daily, whatever. But the council knows that we're going to be looking at this in the future to see what the bigger impact would be. But currently, there are some issues that have gone to the Traffic Advisory Committee, and they are taking on they're looking into some things. But we understand and realize, I think I can speak for the council, that the impact is not just one street or two streets. It's our town. And we know that some of the areas are impacted much more than others. But until we see this, the light put in at High Street and the divides on Route 4, I don't think we're really going to know the impact. So I just want to assure the public and that nothing has been done. And I want to make sure that you understand that that's just not the way things are going to happen here. I mean, we have our discussions, we have public comment, and I want to thank also the people that have been sending us all the emails and letting us know their feelings, because that's important. It's important that our community let us know how they feel about things, but it's important that they know that we certainly will be talking about them before anything like that ever is moved forward, any changes. So that's just important for me to let the public know at this point. So we'll see as time progresses as to what's going to happen with Route 4 in the whole area. So, okay, thank you. Okay, Board of Education liaison report.
The only thing I have to report is that they met last week for the first time on video. They had their first videotaping.
And when is it going to be aired? Do we know?
I don't know when it's going to be aired exactly. There's too many political statements going on right now.
That's right.
Infinitely. So anyway, they also had a very lengthy executive session on Charles House, which obviously I know nothing about, but it was hours long.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay,
that's it.
thank you. UVIA, Meredith.
Two things. UVIA met last week, and they started with a debrief of the Unionville Festival. And just to highlight what Nancy said, there were new additions, the Bounce House obviously, but the Purple Pumpkin Project, and they just felt that attendance was definitely on par with past years. Everybody was very encouraged. We got feedback from vendors. And of course, we took lots of suggestions for even new ways to improve on the event next year, including the possibility, and this is just, brainstorming at the moment, but including the possibility of even perhaps adding a chili contest or some sort of thing to further draw people down to the Riverwalk. Because by this time next year, we'll have even more new businesses down there, hopefully, and it's just a way to sort of spread out the mass of the crowd and get people down there a little bit, and we can do that in conjunction with other community groups. So those are just some ideas for next year. And also at the UVIA meeting, they did unanimously vote to endorse the Charles House project as it relates to UVIA, their reason for being, and they'll actually be reading their endorsement at the TPZ meeting this week. And that's it.
Thank you. TPZ.
Well, I'll just follow up for where Meredith left off. The biggest thing right now at TPZ is the Charles W. House. Their application is before them now. Tomorrow night, they will have a second meeting on the hearing. There will be some more follow-up information that some of the commissioners were looking for in terms of how the remediation will go, some more traffic information leading up to that. The meeting prior to this, it was a good meeting. They put on a very thorough presentation. There was good public comment on it, and it was a very good meeting, I thought, for the public at least. They were able to see it and commented on how they felt about it.
Mm-hmm.
So tomorrow night will be the next TPZ meeting on the subject, and I do not know if it will be closed or not, but worst case, they'll go into November on it. That's it.
Okay, thank you. WPCA,
Nothing new to report.
EDC.
That's
Oh, the breakfast.
Oh, right.
The breakfast is
tomorrow morning.
tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock at the Farmington Club on Town Farm Road.
Farmington Club.
Human Relations.
Two things. One, on October 29th, between 4:30 and 6:30, there will be the 50th anniversary celebration of the services for the elderly at the community center, and encourage everyone to go and to celebrate. The other doesn't really relate to human relations, but I just wanted to bring it up tonight because he was such an amazing person who added so much to the town of Farmington. Grant Shealy, who was I guess officially he's the phys ed or the gym coach at Noah Wallace for I don't know how many years, probably 30 or so years. But unofficially, he did everything at that school and touched hundreds, probably thousands of kids and families. Passed away this week. And I just want to note that he was such an enormous gem, and I think we're all going to miss him greatly. So I just think he needs, I know he'll be celebrated over and over, but I mean, just the outpouring immediately of love and sadness. He will never be replaced, but this town really benefited greatly from just an unbelievable man who died way too young.
Wonderful man.
Thank you, Amy. And I'd ask if we could just take a moment to have a moment of silence and just think about Grant. Absolutely what you said. He was just an amazing person in town, and so many families have been touched. And thank you for bringing that up. So if we could just bow our heads for a minute. Thank you. Thank you. Chamber of Commerce.
The Chamber of Commerce is holding their third annual business summit on Wednesday, November 18th, 2015. They're looking for sponsors to the event, and they're looking for attendees to the event. And you can go to their website. It's farmingtonchamber.com and sign up or contact them if you're interested in a sponsorship. It will run from 7:30 to 11 in the morning. John Patrick will be speaking there, and Rose Ponte, our economic development director, will be speaking as well. She'll be holding some workshops, so it should be a fun event. So check out the website and sign up.
Okay,
Thank
thank you. Any other liaison reports? Okay, report of the town manager.
You have in your report that we did get some news about some reductions in our budget. So there is some municipal aid reduction. So on September 18th, the governor announced that we have some statewide budget issues, and that the impact of his action is that the town of Farmington received $170,134 less in pilot state-owned property in this budget right now. As you may recall, at the end of the 2015 session, the General Assembly passed a budget implementer bill that included a specific one-time appropriation of $166,000 for the town of Farmington. That was included in the town's municipal project grant. And as a result, we are not going to be receiving that. And so the wash is about $3,343 because the town did not budget for that extra money. We didn't get that extra money. And so really the difference is $3,343. That said, we do have some concerns. It's still very, very early in the budget season about what's going on at the state budget level. And obviously, because we didn't budget the $170,000 to start with, we don't see that loss. But the governor's projected budget was based on a Moore Commission, which through their work would find $20 million in cost savings. And everything that I've heard and have seen, that is not going to happen. And so the governor and the state budget is going to be doing different things over the year to try to absorb some of their losses. But you know, we're going to be watching it very carefully to see what happens. It's never a good sign when it's October, when a budget starts in July, that you've already lost $172,000 of funding in the existing budget. So again, right now, we don't need, I don't think, to take any action internally with our own budget because of the fact that we didn't budget for some of that grant funding, but we are watching it very carefully, and we'll have to see what happens. on some better news is that we are having the live fire training facility groundbreaking. It's scheduled for October 29th, 2015 at 3 p.m. on Round Hill Road. You'll all be receiving your invitation, but we would love to have everyone come to the groundbreaking. It's going to be a great day for the town of Farmington. In other good news, on Saturday, October 24th, 2015 at 2 p.m., the Farmington Trails Council will conduct a dedication ceremony for Preston T. Reed, the founder of the Trails Council. And you may remember in 2014, we approved a resolution and we dedicated a plaque for Mr. Reed, naming the trails Farmington River Bridge, which is located north of Red Oak Hill Road, as the Preston T. Reed Memorial Bridge. And I put a picture, the plaque has gone on, and it's in your site. And so you'll be getting an invitation, and Mr. Reed's widow, Ann Preston, along with her family and friends, are going to make a special trip from Pennsylvania and Delaware to attend the ceremony. I think that's pretty appropriate with our next item. And Russ, maybe if you can put up on the board the trails for the council, the bridge. As you know, on September 29th, the State Bond Commission bonded $5.1 million for the final section of Rails to Trails project, which includes $1.2 million for the bridge construction. And if you guys want to see it, this bridge has been designed and it's ready to go. The last part of the trail is going to start in the spring, and it's really quite lovely. And $1.2 million for the bridge and $5.1 million to finish the last section of the trail. So the design is 100% complete, and we're hoping to advertise this winter for a spring 2016 construction, and that will be the last leg of our trail, and that's going over Route 6. And if you look at it a little bit closer, you'll be able to tell on the left-hand side there's the sign for Kinetic Care, so that kind of will tell you where it's going across Route 6. So it's really very good, and Russ and his staff have been really working hard that having all projects ready to go, and when the money's there, then we've been receiving quite a bit of money, and we're able to implement some of these projects. So congratulations, Russ. It's going to be great. So.
It's beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kathy, I have a question about something that's not in your report.
Sure.
I'm hearing about a gas pipeline right-of-way,
Sure.
and I've heard that the gas line right-of-way is going to basically be a 150-foot strip through the town where they're taking trees and so forth over towards where the highway is. Do you know about that? Is that accurate?
No.
Okay.
That's not accurate. We have gotten a few questions. Russ is here. He can kind of give an overview, but what I'll do for the next meeting is I'll do a manager's report for you, but let Russ give just a very small overview, because there has been quite a few public meetings on it and some different things, and but I'll put it in a manager's report next month for you all. But Russ, why don't you just give a little overview?
Sure. The Tennessee gas pipeline has been working for about a year and a half, 2 years now, to advertise and have public meetings on upgrades to their line. It's a high-pressure gas line that goes through the town. The section that they're going to do an improvement to is off of Old Mountain Road for it's less than 1,000 feet. They're not really sure right yet where they're going to actually make the tie-in, so it could be 600 feet within the town of Farmington before it goes into West Hartford. And what it will be is a T connection into the existing line, and then they'll run a parallel line from through Farmington, that section of Farmington into West Hartford, all the way up to the Massachusetts border. It will become, go ahead.
I was going to say, but the section in Farmington, the gas line already exists in
Correct.
the area that's already there. So the gas line already exists. And what did you say? It's probably 600 feet in Farmington?
Correct.
It's a very, very small
It's
portion
all
of.
through the woods, over by the MDC.
But it's not going to go south of Route 4?
No. Nope. It's literally
Other way, yeah.
west of Old Mountain Road. And it goes right through the MDC property. They had a open house town hall meeting, I think they called it, in West Hartford a couple weeks ago. They've had a public meeting here at the high school. I believe it was last December. They had a meeting, I think, the previous August 14, at the Marriott. They've had a FERC meeting, which is the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission meeting in New Britain. They've had numerous, there's probably been about 30 public hearings on this improvement.
Yep.
So it's, it's been widely advertised.
But
And I
the
think- go
the
ahead.
impact to Farmington
Is
in general is very, very minimal.
Right.
Very-
Their line already exists in town. It's been here for over, I think it's like 58 or 60 years.
Yeah, I know what it is.
So all this is just to get more gas distributed into the pipeline.
But I'll put some of the details together for a manager's report
thank
next
you.
month.
And we have a map on it as well.
Yeah, okay,
Thanks.
thanks.
Thanks, Russ. That it?
And that's it.
Okay, can I have a motion to accept the report?
Motion to accept the report of the town manager.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, appointments.
All right.
L13.
L13, I would like to make a motion that Matt Ross be appointed to the Unionville Historic District and Properties Commission to fill a vacancy for the balance of a 5-year term beginning immediately and ending September 30th, 2019.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, L15.
And I would like to make a motion for L15 that H. Dyke N. Spear Jr. will be appointed to the position of Justice of the Peace for the balance of a 4-year term beginning immediately and ending January 2nd, 2017.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Any old business? New business? N1.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to recommend the acquisition of Lot 10A Slater Road adjacent to Deadwood Swamp to the TPZ for a report under Section 8-24 of the Connecticut State Statutes.
Second.
Kathy?
We had the public hearing on this earlier. Again, this is just to send back to an 8-24, and then it will be back in November, where we'd receive the 8-24 report and vote whether or not to authorize the acquisition of it.
Any questions for Kathy tonight? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay,
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to recommend the donation of a parcel of property, Lot 3 Johnson Avenue, from the Tomaso Brothers Incorporated to the TPZ for a report under Section 8-24 of the Connecticut State Statutes.
Second.
Kathy?
Again, we had the public hearing earlier, and this is just to send it to the 8-24, and in November, we would take action on the parcel.
Any questions tonight? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, N3?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to acknowledge that Town Open Space Lot 3 Red Oak Hill is a part of the Farmington Memorial Town Forest.
Second.
Kathy?
If you, we spoke about the next 3 items in my manager's report last month, and this first item is to authorize the incorporation of the town-owned parcel 26A Fieldstone Run, and it's on the map, it's labeled as number 3, and it's 5.0 acres. And as you can see from the note, let me see, do I have the right? Yeah. You can see from the note that this was parcel 3, is shaded in the same color. Yeah, I'm getting my things messed up, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah. It was shaded the same color because the town always thought of it to be as part of the forest, but it does not have the appropriate deed language. So what you would be doing with this would you be authorizing us to include the necessary charitable language into the parcel's deed.
Okay, any questions?
What, having this be a part of the town forest, what exactly does that mean?
Well, for this particular property, we've always thought of it as being part of.
I guess it's for all of these,
For
just
all
to
of them,
answer-
yep.
yeah, for
The
everybody,
property
right.
will be continued to be owned by the town of Farmington, but as a whole. However, the management of the property will be transferred to the town's Memorial Forest Board of Trustees. And so they will be the manager of the property, even though the town will still own the property. And again, this I think this is very helpful for us because the Forest Board manages their property now, and adding these other ones, and we have a considerable amount of open space, and someone kind of watching these particular properties on a more I wouldn't say day-to-day basis,
Yeah.
but you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
It's-
read it, you had a little note.
Yeah, it's, I think, a benefit to the town of Farmington. So other than that, I don't think it'll be any different, except that I think it's going to be looked after a little bit better.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. John?
So I just want to say that, I think that the town forest is managed very well, and it has been for many, many years. We as a town, over the last 20 years, have been acquiring a lot of open space, and one of the things we haven't done is to create a lot of detailed management plans for those. So I think that allowing a group that has shown that they have the ability to manage this type of open space, to give them additional responsibilities is a great thing. And I think it puts the work into hands of people who can do it.
I agree with you, John.
Other comments?
Now, is this a volunteer group? Or,
Yes.
Yes.
hello? Okay, that's what I thought, I just.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other comments or questions? Okay, and I just want to echo what's been said and just say thank you to the volunteer group that does this and represents them as well. It's absolutely true that we continue to acquire open space, but we're not always able to take care of everything. And certainly, this area will be taken care of, as has the town forest for many, many years. So we appreciate you taking this on and adding to your job. So thanks a lot. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? 4.
Madam Chair, I'd like to move to authorize the incorporation of town-owned open space, Lot 17A3, Wakefield Lane, into the Farmington Memorial Town Forest by the inclusion of the necessary charitable trust language into the parcel's deed.
Second.
Kathy?
This property is the property the town purchased from the Red Oak Swim Club in 2009. It's 15.5 acres in size, and it's almost all wooded wetlands. No DEP grant was granted on this property. While the property was never officially incorporated into the town's memorial forest, its connection with the forest was discussed as one of its reasons for its acquisitions. The deed does not include necessary language, so what this you would be is authorizing us to include this as part of the memorial forest and putting the necessary charitable trust language into the parcel's deed.
Any other questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Yeah, I already.
Okay. 5.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the incorporation of town-owned open space, Lot 26A, Fieldstone Run, into the Farmington Memorial Forest by inclusion of necessary charitable trust language into the parcel's deed.
Second.
Okay. And this is N5, right?
N5.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is the authorization by the necessary trust language. We always did think this was part of the forest, and it does not have the language, so we're going to include the charitable trust language into the parcel's deed.
Any comments, questions? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
N6.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the town manager to sign an agreement for the installation of a monitoring well on town right-of-way along Pasture Way.
Second.
This monitoring well has been requested by the environmental consulting engineer for the mobile station at 435 Main Street and ordered by DEEP. The agreement has reviewed and approved by the town attorney at no cost to the town. The mobile station has asked us if we could place this here. We have quite a few of these around town that we do, and we assign appropriate agreements to do that, and it's at no cost. And I think it's a benefit for us and them to be able to know what's in the ground and things of that nature.
Kathy, was there another one
Yeah, yep.
right in this exact area? No. Or no?
Not
Okay,
in
not in
this
this area.
area.
Okay.
I think the latest one was on Route 4, right, by the gas station over there?
That was the first one.
That,
Okay, and then, okay.
yeah.
We had a second approval on River for the water company. There is this one now. This is over by the bowl.
Yep, I know exactly what it
Yeah.
is.
There's one on Finneman Road?
Fenman Road was the last one.
Yeah.
Now, when they're choosing to request these certain locations, I assume there's a reason behind that choice. Is it because of the gas station, or?
Correct. They're basically trying to figure out if there's any gas leakage migrating towards the river.
Okay.
Because of the gradients, the elevation, the grades of everything around that area.
And how often do they come and test it or
It could be
monitor it?
monthly, it could be quarterly. One down here at the gas station, that comes back down once a year now.
And they, I assume, share all of the results with
They
us?
send us all the results.
Okay. So there's,
Just be with it, there's really nothing we can do, we can say no to it, but I wouldn't advise.
oh, there's never,
Yeah.
yeah.
We want to make sure that there's nothing comes. And if there is, we want to make sure if it is there, they point it out.
Okay. Thanks.
And what do these things look like?
It's about a 6-foot round disc with about a foot of concrete around it. It looks like a water
Yeah.
cake, and it goes down into the ground. It's like a well. It's about 2 inches in diameter.
And whose property does it go on?
This is going on our right-of-way.
Is that-
Right away.
On our
On our
right-of-way.
right-of-way.
Yeah, on the road
So
right-of-way.
there's a town right-of-way
Yeah.
there?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Russ, was this
But it's-
contamination from years and years ago, prior to the most recent update of that station, prior to that, right?
Correct.
Okay.
It's the ongoing thing.
And that's the only well they have for that property? Aren't there more across the street? Yeah,
That house right across the
Street.
street has multiple wells on
okay.
it. They've done a massive cleanup there.
So this is the farthest well out now that they've put, and they'll, if nothing hits there, they'll stop it there, so, or that's where their last point will be?
Correct.
Okay.
Other questions? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, and 7.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the town manager to execute an easement agreement with Arrowhead Berkshire Combined LLC for a permanent easement in favor of the town.
Second.
As you can see, this is another easement. Again, we've been working on our trail bridge, and we've been getting easements and different things. If you look at the second page, right down the middle is what you would, what I call the old train tracks, and that's usually where the trail would be. But if you now look kind of where the green is yours in color?
We have green.
No.
Yeah, yeah. On the side, if you come down, you can see the easement coming down the side. We're gonna not go on the trail, we're gonna go around it like that, and they're granting us an easement to do that. And the reason why is that so the trail doesn't go right through the middle of their driveway, so it's in a better location for them, so it's safer. So they're, at no cost to the town, they're just allowing us to go off the regular train track right away, and we're gonna go around it like that, and that, we've worked with the owners on this, and we're signing an agreement. So Matt and, again, Russ's staff, it's, again, a lot of work behind the scenes with all different businesses, having meetings with them, and getting these easements all ready to go and for our trail, because, like I said, we are very close to, it's going to be built in the spring, so we have to have all these different things in place.
So this is on the EVM side?
Yeah.
Okay,
Right, that,
yeah,
right, so that property line to the right,
yep,
that is where the new first image laundry is, on the corner of Brick Avenue.
yes, yep.
So Russ, assuming everything goes right, when can we be biking on the path and over the bridge?
2030.
Not what we want to hear, Russ.
It's probably 2 years down.
Okay. So spring of 2018?
Yeah, we'll be around there. We're gonna push to do what we can. The bridge is gonna take all in that season. And we'll be doing each end of the bridge in conjunction while they're working.
Right.
So that subcontractor's working, so we're looking to finalize things, 2018, hopefully by June.
So somebody else does the actual work on this piece of the bridge, but on the sides, you're doing the work?
No,
Oh.
we're gonna bid the whole project out.
Oh,
The bridge will be a portion of the contract, but it will hopefully be done by Bridge
Oh,
Maybe a little more confusing. Yeah, no, our contractor will build that bridge.
oh, okay, thank you. Other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, N8?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make motion to authorize the town manager to sign a resolution to execute an intermunicipal agreement.
Second.
Should go ahead and finish.
Yeah, you probably should, yeah.
To approve a resolution authorizing town manager Kathleen A. Egan to execute an intermunicipal agreement for the replacement of shared computer servers which operate the computer-aided dispatch systems for the towns of Farmington and Burlington. This authorization includes signing all necessary agreements with the state's Office of Policy and Management according to terms of the ICE grant program.
Second now.
So this is actually a reimbursement resolution. We've already upgraded the servers, and to receive our grant money, we have to do this resolution. So it's, the grant is valued at approximately $9,500, which is 30% of the cost.
Okay, any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, N9.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the attached disaster recovery business continuity plan for municipal records and make it part of the Town of Farmington Emergency Operations Plan.
Second.
This, as I'm sure many of you know, we have a very large emergency operations plan for all our departments, for everything that could possibly go wrong. One of the things that was brought to my attention from Paula Ray, who handles our records, is that we really didn't have any kind of retention, recovery disaster for any of our records. And that's an important part of emergency operations. And Paula, with our consultant, developed the attached plan to identify and protect the town of Farmington's essential records in case of a small or large scale records loss. Couple of reasons, couple of things. One is that not all records are equal, and so that's helpful in the plan, that not all records are equal. And second, again, if there was some sort of disaster, meaning in this town hall or something like that, how the town could get up and running as fast as we can. And so the chief of police is our emergency management person. He has reviewed the plan. I've reviewed the plan. I think it's perfect for our needs, and I would recommend that we incorporate it into our EOP. And I also thank Paula and our consultant for doing this plan and getting it part of our emergency operations plan, because it is an important aspect.
Just, not necessarily related to this plan, but sort of related to this plan. Our records going back, we'll call it hundreds of years, have they been digitized?
I think Paula can answer that.
No. Some have, some haven't. There's microfilm of all of them, which is stored off-site. They're not digitized, but there's microfilm that's supposed to be 500-year quality microfilm.
Okay.
So we do have a copy, but not a digitized copy of the oldest records. We currently are trying to go back with the land records. We're back, right now, the capital improvement plan gave me another $25,000 this year. And by the end of this fiscal year, we'll be back to 1972, which doesn't sound like a long way, but it really is. It really is.
Believe me, I know.
Once we get, if we do decide as a group or you decide as a council that you want to continue this, going back, you're going to cover a lot more years with that, for instance, that amount of money than you do in more modern history, because this will take us back to book 200. We're currently in book 1119, and this chunk takes us back to about book 200.
Oh, wow.
So
A lot more paper now.
a little more investment will go a long way in years,
Right.
because there weren't, with things like there are now with mortgages and assignments,
Compounding
leases,
effect, I'm
and,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
and multiple pages and,
Yeah.
and things. So we are working to achieve that with the land records. It's the vital records, it really isn't as essential because there's a copy of all the vital records at the state as well as in the town. But the land records, it would be nice to have a digital copy of everything, and I'll probably presenting that to you or to Kathy. We'll see if it gets past Kathy.
So just to be clear, then we have original records here, and then there's a microfilm copy of these records off-site.
Correct.
So it would take 2 disasters for them to be gone.
Right, right.
Thank you.
And I want to say a thank you to Brian, too, because when we started this project, he had already taken many steps to, and I'm talking about our IT department, to have off-site backup and the most appropriate and continuous off-site backup for our current computerized records that the town uses. One of the things that became apparent after the hurricanes down in Louisiana is that there wasn't any planning for records. And whole towns got wiped out, town halls. People, and you really don't realize what that means until you can't identify who owns what property. You can't get your birth records. It's all gone. So this kind of planning is very important.
Other questions, comments? I just say, again, thank you for this, bringing this to our attention. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, 10.
Ooh, this is a fun one. Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to cancel the October 27th, 2015 regular town council meeting.
Second.
Any questions? All
Why is
those in
it being
favor?
canceled?
Generally, we do cancel the October meeting unless there's an important issue to come before the council, before elections.
Oh, okay.
So we're following suit.
Got it.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay? 11.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the town manager to execute and deliver a quitclaim deed on behalf of the town of Farmington to extinguish and terminate a grant of conservation, restriction, and easement from James H. Pogson and Loretta C. Pogson, grantors, to the town of Farmington, grantee, dated March 30, 1993, and recorded in volume 464 at page 423 of the Farmington Land Records.
Second.
Kathy?
So in 2003, a 3-lot subdivision on Brickyard Road was approved. A conservation easement was created to satisfy open space requirements. The owner then transferred the 3 lots to his son. His son is preparing to merge the 3 lots back into 1 lot, thus eliminating the subdivision and returning it to its pre-subdivision status. Eliminating the lots eliminates any justification for the conservation easement. The owner's attorney has prepared the quitclaim deed for from the town to the current owner, which eliminates the conservation easement. The town attorney and the town planner have reviewed the issue and recommend that the town council authorize the town manager to sign the quitclaim deed. But one thing that I should have noted in the note here is that the quitclaim deed would only be signed after the deed of merging the 3 lots have been recorded on the land records. So once it's recorded on the land records, then we do the quitclaim deed, which is obvious, but I just wanted to make it known that we wouldn't do anything until that was on the land records. So according to Bill Warner and our town attorney, this seems like that I would recommend that we do this. It's going back to 1 lot, thus they doesn't have to have a conservation easement.
I think, what is it zoned for? I'm just curious. Like, what, is this
Yeah.
commercial or is this residential? No, this is just residential.
Residential, yeah.
Oh, so that
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Any
Where
other
is this on
questions?
Brickyard?
Where is it on Brickyard
So
Road?
it's just
After Brickyard.
just past Basswood,
Yeah,
Oh,
Oh, so
Wildwood.
it's-
on the same side of the
yeah.
road.
Yeah.
All right, got it.
Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, and 12.
Yeah, I just had a thought. I bet it's also.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to ratify the tentative agreement of the collective bargaining agreement between the town of Farmington and Local 3103 International Association of Firefighters for the period July 1, 2014 through June 30, 2017.
Second.
Kathy?
This is for our firefighters. We have, Erica, 9 or 8?
8.
8 8 paid firefighters. As you know, we are a volunteer, mainly a volunteer fire company, but we're supplemented by 8 paid firefighters who are members of Local 3103. This would be a 3-year contract that, which started in July 1, 2014 and will end in 2017. It's a 3-year contract. It would be various language and procedural changes that have no net effect but are favorable to the town's needs. There's increase in the insurance cost shares, 20% by the end of the contract, 24% if hired after 2012. If you remember, we have a tiered group if you were hired after a certain time. There's significant health plan design changes with increased co-pays. This was one of the reasons that this agreement took a little time to get settled, is because we're really pushing our units to have some significant insurance plan design changes, which has to do with, John, what we talked about for the Cadillac tax, because we have to have some design changes and things like that. So these do have significant plan design changes and increased co-pays. The COLA is 2.25, 2.75, 2.75%. At the end of the 3 years, the overall cost of the contract will be $29,000 or 2.015% per year. I think this is a very fair contract to both the town and the firefighters, and I would recommend that we sign it. And my understanding, Erica, the firefighters did endorse this?
Yes.
And the firefighters have endorsed it.
Okay, thank you, Kathy. Any questions?
Who negotiates this contract from the town side?
Erica does the day-to-day negotiations.
Other questions, comments?
Just curious, this says there's no natural step. You know, some of our contracts, there's a step in addition to the increase. Is there a step on this or no?
Not for new employees.
Okay. But,
And all the other people that are on, that would be on step, there's only one that's on step.
okay.
Any other questions? Okay, thanks, Erica. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. 13.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the following property tax refunds as listed.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, now we have our added N14.
Are added N14.
Yep, I put it down as L. Should be N.
Okay, give me a second here.
It's the reaffirming the appointments.
Okay, yes. I would like to make, Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to a motion to reconfirm the appointments made at the special meeting on September 22nd for Michael Calandria, Howard Martin, and Guy Wolf. I know I didn't say that right.
Okay. Any questions? Go ahead, John.
Oh, why are we doing this?
Just because that was a special meeting that we held on the 22nd, so rather than have any question as to whether it was appropriate for a special meeting or not, we're going to just reaffirm it. And we didn't go through all the detail, we have it in record,
Yep.
but we want to make sure that we do this in a regular meeting, just to make sure that this moves forward with our votes. Anything else? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Thanks a lot. Okay, now we have a motion to move to executive session.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to move to executive session to discuss matters concerning the sale or acquisition of real property, to adjourn the meeting to executive session as permitted by Connecticut General Statutes, Section 1-225A, for the following purposes as allowed by Section 1-206, that is, discussion of the selection of a site or the lease, sale, or purchase of real estate by a political subdivision of the state when publicly regarding such site, lease, sale, purchase, or construction would cause a likelihood of increased price until such time as all of the property has been acquired or all proceedings or transactions concerning the same have been terminated or abandoned. That attendance in this executive session shall be limited to members of the town council and the town manager at 8:08
Second.
p.m.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Okay.